I was listening. That was the peanut gallery told me that, the peanut gallery. All right. Anyway, I call this meeting to order. Would you please stand with me and recite the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. First item on our agenda is, it looks like a support of county kids, the SOX annual report. It looks like Robert Botman, but I don't know if he's here tonight. If not, we'll hold that, and what we'll do is we'll wait and see if he comes in a little later. So let's, why don't we move on forward, and we will introduce you to Miss Lynn Freeman, and she's going to give us a report on the Mason County Forest Festival. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mayor Cross, commissioners. Good evening. I've given you all copies of what I brought, so I'm not sure if you want me to read it to you, if you want to talk about it, how you want to do with this.
You're in charge, so you can do whatever you want.
Hey,
Just hit
don't ever tell me I'm in
highlights, or-
charge. You will
You're
be
in
sorry.
charge. You got the microphone.
How much time you got? Okay, first of all, this was our 68th year. It's been going on for many years, downtown Shelton. We're very thankful to still have it down here. It makes it a lot easier versus going out to the fairgrounds and whatnot. The carnival opened and there were no problems. The Goldsboro Creek Fun Run did have a decrease this year in participation, but it's still a really, really well-attended event as far as participants and whatnot. The Family and Pets Parade continues to give us some difficulties with participation. Everybody comes the day of versus pre-registering like they do for the Grand Parade. So we're kind of working on ways to change how we can get out into the schools a little bit earlier and get some more kids involved. I think people have forgotten in the community what the Kiddies Parade was, so we've renamed it the Family and Pets Parade. So that way parents, pets, that type of thing. It was always intended for kids to be involved in Forest Festival, younger kids, because it was always a firefighting type, forest fire type event, and it's kind of evolved into more of a community celebration. So we need to get back into why we had Forest Festival and get the kids back involved. So we're working on some changes for that. The Grand Parade, since I started working with Forest Festival, has really, really increased in attendance and participation. We're having a number of people coming from out of town now. We had 35 entries this year that came in from out of town. That's other festivals, other schools out of the county. And of those 35, 8 of those participants stayed in hotel rooms. Some of them stayed in multiple hotel rooms. So we're good with that. But it might be a good idea to work with some of the local hotel motels, because if they would offer a discount, some people that came, they actually took 2 rooms when they could have had 3, but it's cost prohibitive when you have, small festivals coming to town, and, your budgets are limited like ours is. So we think we're going to work with them. Now, we do send out advertising for our hotels and restaurants and things like that when we send out our parade applications. So that way people kind of know, and then I work with a lot of them. I email them and we kind of go back and forth. And we last year I had the idea to set a bank of rooms up at the Shelton Hotel, to reserve a bank of rooms, which worked really well. So we, Sun knew how many of them were coming, so she could kind of plan for it. But we didn't talk about a discount for the people. We weren't ready for that yet. So once we build a rapport of having people come in and using those hotel rooms religiously, then, we'll be able to negotiate something with them, I'm sure. As far as participants, there were 130, what did I say, 102 entries, and there's 750 people in the parade. That's how many bodies are actually in the parade with coming in from out of town and whatnot. So it's a good time. I really enjoy working with it. So Attendance is also increasing. We've noticed that some of the local businesses are timing their annual sales and things like that and setting up areas for people to view both the parade and up at the car show. So it works really well for people to come in and kind of do that in our businesses, in our local businesses. It increases our revenue and whatnot. Okay, we're the logging show. We kind of continue to prove every year on who is at the logging show. This year we had the world champion log, I want to say climber, came this year, and we actually had him from Canada. So, you know, we continue to kind of keep that up. We've had to increase our seating. We're up to probably about 3,000 spectators. So, you know, having it down at Loop Field is really, you know, continues to be a real good thing, because we don't lose the people between the parade and Loop Field and the logging show. Okay, moving on. We did have an incident at Loop Field this year where someone actually ran into the fence with one of their big box trucks. And that's kind of a first for us, and I had told the chairman of the food vendors that he needs to have someone posted at the gate next year to help people in and out, because the people that hit it said they didn't hit it, and the people that said they hit it, but so we repaired the fence, and you know, we thank the county or the city for allowing us to, you know, fix it and repay them for it. The water pond is still filled by the city, which we're really grateful for, because that's the log rolling and those events that they need water for. So we're really appreciative of that. And then we water the park with it. Fun Night continues to grow. We have a lot of private donations, and that's held up at our community credit union, and it was started because people didn't have anything to do between when it was time for fireworks. Everybody kind of just waited around and whatnot. So families now have pie eating contests and water balloon tosses, and you know, it's a really good mix for families. And that's one of the things about Forest Festival that I really like, is most of it is no cost for the families. You know, they come and they spend the day together, and you know, I think it's a really good way for families to spend time with each other. Fireworks display still at Oakland Bay Junior High School. Still watched by everybody in the county. I haven't yet figured out how to see it at my house in Belfair, but I'm working on it. The only incident we really have with the fireworks display is the skate park. They close the skate park Friday afternoon for our fireworks show the following evening. And every year in the last 4 years that I've been involved, kids have been seen climbing over the fence to skate and whatnot. God, I say whatnot a lot, don't I? Climbing over the fence to skate, and I think we need to figure out a way to better work with the city, because I think they've called the police probably a half a dozen times last year, because the kids were climbing over the fence. We just don't want them in the skate park when the fireworks themselves are going on. So I think closing it on Friday and till Sunday, whenever that, I think that we kind of need to look at changing some of that, because that's one of the kids' areas of you know, what they do. You know, and in the summertime when they're on the weekends and stuff, so we're working with that. So I don't want the police to have to come all the time up there if we can figure out a way. And I think Parks handles that. So I'm going to try and work with them. Car show. The largest car show to date covered 9 city blocks this year. And it's a really well-attended event if it's not raining. If it's going to rain, it's not going to happen, because nobody's going to bring their classics out in the rain. So that's where the last few years we've been really, really good on that. We did have an issue with one of the owners of one of the gas stations up on Jay, complaining that we were going to shut down the road, and the city engineers went and talked to him, and we were able to get our permit, and so we're really grateful that they did that for us. Okay, Forest Festival uses our funds to pay for several things throughout the year. Most of it's our advertising, and the biggest portion of our advertising is our float. Last year, we went to 10 out-of-county parades, traveled 5,000 miles, and earned many prestigious float design awards. We took a grand sweepstakes award at the Olympia Lake Fair Parade out of 158 entries.
Wow.
And we've never received that award before. It was the first for Forest Festival as a whole. So I was really thrilled with that. The attendance at Lake Fair actually comes from Canada, Washington State, entire Washington State, and into Oregon, because the Tournament of Roses Parade and some of those other lower ones that go into California also attend because it's our city capital. So that's why they all attend. So there was probably maybe 15 floats that come. And our float, I design our float and maintain our float and drive our float. And with the budgets from the people that come to this, a lot of them have large budgets that they build their floats with. Most of them are commercially built or professionally built, and they hire people to ride on their float. That, to me, gets away from our county ideas where, your Daffodil has been going for many, many years. Strawberry Festival, same thing. Forest Festival. So I kind of really have a thing with people that come with a commercial float that's been built by somebody else with models that they hired and taking awards. I think when we take an award on a float that we actually built and we actually are proud to display, it says a lot more than somebody getting a first place trophy or a best in show trophy that was built. So, by other than their hands. We went to Seafair this year, and that's kind of my doing. We've not been to Seafair before for Forest Festival. So this was our third year, and we actually took an award, which is very unheard of, because taking an award at Seafair is really cool. They base their awards on, I guess, 1 million different kinds of criteria, and this is the only parade held in the state that is maintained by invitation only. So we, as an award recipient, received 5 minutes. I mean, it might not sound like much to you, but 5 minutes of airtime on Channel 7 in prime time viewing. So what they talk about is our float, they showcase it, they showcase our royalty, and they talk about our festival as a whole, because in the beginning, when we first applied to Seafair, we actually type out a whole history. And they actually spend time commentating on whatever that we've put in. So it's a 3.5 mile parade, and it's estimated that we're seen by more than 1 million people at that parade, both the television and on the ground. So we do get really, really good advertising. We have about a $5,500 float budget. It includes all our travel expenses and our decor and all that type of thing. 3 people usually go with our float, which is someone to pull it, the trailer with the float in it, someone to take our royalty, and then my car, which is the support vehicle that has the dresses and Smokey Bear and all that type of thing. I'm on my 4th year of doing the float. I really, really like it. I think I really take a lot of pride in giving our community something that's worth looking at. I spend time with it. It takes me probably a few months to build the stuff, and then about 3 months to make the float, to build the float and have it ready for on the ground. We'll continue to increase our float schedule as we can. We traveled to Marysville last year. They in turn came to ours, and as we go to others, they will come to ours. So it's like shake hand here, they come to us. I was approached by Seafair this year to consider making Forest Festival a Seafair sanctioned event. And what that means is all the advertising and everything that the Seafair folks do will include Forest Festival. So when their constituents come and whatever, we would be involved in some of that. And I believe this year Seafair dignitaries will be attending our parade to look at it. So that's something that we need to probably work on, as our group on, how we're going to set this up. And we need to kind of maybe move from a little rinky-dink to a little bit more 21st century, I guess, as far as seating, as far as announcing, and, that's kind of what I'm working on. Okay, I took over as president in 2012 when Debbie Harvey left. I brought the festival through 2012, and then I resigned as president in September. We did seat a new board, and the new board has since resigned. Too much work. So we're kind of in a little bit of a standing issue here. We have set a theme, which is Enchanted Forest, and we do have our first meeting on Wednesday, and we'll be seating a new board at that time. I went ahead and did our permits and that type of thing for the year, so we're still okay with that. We added the bike ride in 2011, continues to see growth. We still continue to advertise both locally and nationally. We've also already had people call us about, advertising in some of the specialty magazines and things like that. Other than that, we're good to go.
Thank you very much. That was a very detailed and entertaining report.
Oh, entertaining.
Yes.
Okie dokie.
Well, I thought it was entertaining to me. I enjoyed it. You said 68 years.
68 years.
68 years. Boy, that's a real heritage, and any other comments from my fellow commissioners or anything?
Okay.
Keep up the good work, and
Thank
thank
you
you
very
very much. It's things like this that make Shelton the center of the universe.
Yes, it is.
All right, well, next we have it looks like a report on our Mason County Chamber of Commerce from Heidi McCutcheon. Thank you.
So Mayor Krantz, Commissioner Pennell, Commissioner Olson, thank you for having me to present the fourth quarter tourism report. I won't read all of it to you, but as you can see, some of the efforts made during this period included the first airing of our television commercial spot, which promotes our tourism website. We were able to get that into the University of Washington Las Vegas Bowl. So it was really exciting to see that commercial promoting Mason County. I believe that the statistics on that was about 6 million people should have seen it. We played it across Washington State, and then there was particular areas within the greater King County demographic where it aired 2 other times as well. Obviously for Mason County and some of the peninsula areas, it wasn't as pertinent to have that repeat exposure. We had ongoing administration of visitor information services, the online event calendar, management of explorehoodcanal.com. We also did a overhaul of that website. As you can see, the paper behind the actual report is the new landing page for Explore Hood Canal. So we're very happy with how that turned out. And we also did advertisement and promotion of area holiday events, including our Shop Local promotion, the Christmas parade, tree lighting, and holiday magic. For the fourth quarter, our tourism website received just shy of 9,000 visitors, of which over 80% were new visitors and about 26,000 page views. The unique visitors who went to the online event calendar was 655, and there were 566 clicks to the Shelton Community Information page. We mailed 5 relocation, 8 visitor, 4 information, and 3 school packets to recipients across the United States, and 1 international request. And then on the next page there goes over our visitor count, both in the caboose, the chamber office, and phone calls received. And to better assess them, we compare them 2012's numbers with 2011 fourth quarter numbers. So with that, are there any questions that any of you guys have?
I have a question, and I didn't want to blindside you with this, Heidi, so we spoke about this a little bit ahead of time, but, so you can either take a little bit of time tonight to address this or do some research on it and get back to us on it. But there's some concern with the whole idea of shopping local and having to do with utilizing local business folks to do some of the different things that the chamber takes part in. So if you could talk just a little bit about that, and then also your policy, I guess, as far as going out to bid on different projects.
Certainly. We do try to shop local as much as possible. The one thing that we did outside of the county was the tourism commercials themselves. I did offer to Mark Wojtowicz, who, my understanding, is the only one in Mason County that has the capacity to produce such commercials, and he decided to pass on that process. I think he was just simply too busy with some other projects that he was working on. So we did contract with Impact Studio Pro, which is based out of Issaquah. So we tried to keep it Western Washington, at least, for that. And was able to reach out to a couple of our neighboring visitor convention bureaus, as well as neighboring chambers of commerce, to find out who they would recommend. And then we did a process where we just looked at their different work and figured out who we thought would be most well-suited to help us promote Mason County. For the rest of our things, we do shop local and use local vendors. So if there's, I don't know if there's a specific question that you have, or...
Well, I guess mainly, and maybe you could address a little bit to your policy as far as the chamber organization of, because we've always heard, and we certainly have to abide by the whole three bid issue and that kind of thing. Do you do that, or what's your take on that whole issue?
My understanding of the tourism awards that are granted to us is that the city and the county both do their bidding process, to which the applications were awarded to the chamber. We then look for vendors, and of course we look here locally first that we feel can properly reflect the best things that Mason County has to offer. There isn't at this time, nor am I aware of in the past, where there's been an actual bidding process for them. So,
yeah, I guess, and I guess that's where the question kind of came from, is that I have heard of that in the past it's always been an issue that some things couldn't be done because they needed 3 bids, for example, on something. That's not in place right now, as far as you know?
No, nor am I aware. Again, it was explained to me that the city and the county does the bidding process. Similarly, if a roads contract was to be awarded to a contractor, that contractor then wouldn't have to go and receive bids for his subcontractors, but would rather utilize those that he saw fit. My understanding of the LTAC awards are that they're to be utilized in the same way.
Thanks.
Any other questions or comments? I would like to say that it's been a pleasure working with you this past year, and I think you have a positive young force moving forward. I'm not real savvy on internet, Facebook, Twitter, and all that stuff, but
We won't hold it against you.
I think, huh?
I said we won't hold it against you.
Yeah, no, I think that is a positive thing to know about if you want to move forward in a younger fashion. One thing is you have yes, that's my comment on that. So
May I say that the
Yes.
largest growing new user demographic on Facebook is women, senior citizen women, and the reason that they're getting on Facebook is because that's where their kids and their grandchildren are. So to keep in touch,
yes, and I'm not
they're
one
getting
of
on
those.
the Facebook.
So, but let me ask another question. On the dinner, you have any dinner coming up in a couple of weeks, and I was anxious to get my tickets because the last time you had some event, I thought the mayor just automatically got a free ride on this stuff, and I went in, they were all booked out, and they said I could wait in the waiting room next to the convention or something, and I went, man. So this time I got my ticket. So how many are you looking to attend this next? It's the annual
It's our annual awards gala, so it
9-course?
it is a full 9-course meal, complete with wine pairings. So we're very excited about that. At this point, we are at capacity at 244 people attending. We have begun a waiting list. We're really excited about it. So doubles as our annual meeting as well as our awards. So I'm sure that you guys have seen the nominees this year, and they're a group of really dynamic, incredibly talented people. And I think that the members, by nominating them, have shown that they care about what happens in Mason County and in Shelton, and are looking to see that those people are rewarded for their efforts.
So how many attended that last year?
Last year for the awards gala? Last year, we had, I believe that there was 190 that we had sold tickets for. That happened to be during that 1 week of incredible ice and wind and snow and power outages. So I think that there was about 10 people that did miss it. So this year, we did move it to a different room. So as you enter the hotel side of the lobby, it's the one straight down to the left instead of going into the main casino port. But yeah, we're very excited about it. We had the chance to sit down and have 7 of the 9 courses, and they are absolutely to die for. I'm really looking forward to the awards gala this year again. So,
All right, if there's no other comments or questions, thank you very much for your report, and we'll see you next time.
my pleasure. Thank you.
All right, we can go back and just see if a representative from Mr. Botman is here. It's the SOX program and also the Rhapsody annual report. Yes.
That would be me.
Oh, you can. Why don't you come up and tell us what you got going on?
All right. I'm Andrea Love, and I'm on the board of directors, and I'm not nearly as well prepared as these other folks. Oops. But I did bring some handouts and some pictures. So I will give this to you right now. I left my own copies in the car. Those are pictures of Rhapsody Ride, and if you would pass those around. I'm reporting on the Rhapsody Ride, which is the ride around Puget Sound and Fiddlefest. SOC is Save Our County's Kids. I'm sure you're all aware of that. And our primary function now is helping to try to attract a YMCA to Shelton. And again, supporting kids' projects. I know that we sent a couple of kids to a DECA conference this year, trying to maintain a presence for when we can expand and grow once again. The two items that I'm reporting on are the Rhapsody Ride, and I left some pictures over there. Rhapsody Ride is ride around Puget Sound, and it is amazing to me to see these bicyclists who get up at the crack of dawn and ride their bicycles from Tacoma to Shelton. Some of them go all the way back on the same day. It's 129 miles, I think, for the round trip. But the majority of them spend the night, and I have some figures here. I guess it's 165 miles. I got to keep my glasses on. They have 300 riders that come. I've met with them at the high school where they have breakfast and dinner on the night of their ride. In the pictures over there is a picture that I haven't seen before, and it includes a tent city. Although they rented 65 rooms in Shelton, they also bring these little tents and camp at Shelton High School. So there's a little lighted picture there of the Shelton High School campground. We serve them, I think they get a spaghetti dinner, and then year before last, breakfast. I remember the hardest part of that was the 2-hour hours that it took to brew the coffee, and none of them actually wanted to start out at 8 o'clock in the morning without their coffee. So some of them were a little bit later just waiting for that. Would you like to ask any questions about the Rhapsody Ride?
Well, I don't think I can make it.
I don't think I could either. And I certainly wouldn't do it without coffee either.
Yeah, no, I'd have to have some coffee before I do that.
So the people that don't camp out stay overnight. They use our facilities here in Shelton for to spend the night, as well as do their supplies and what minimal things that they can carry on their trip. They, of course, intimately see Mason County, probably closer than most of us, at least in our maturity, since we're not the kids riding the bicycles around anymore. And SOC sponsors that. It's a fundraiser for the Bicycle Alliance of Washington, and they fund safety programs and bicycle programs around the state. It's also a fundraiser for SOC. And I heard you say 80-some years for Forest Festival. I was going to look and see if I had a note on how many years.
68 years.
68?
68 is-
Okay.
yeah.
It's almost as old as I am. But I was going to look in here and see how many years Fiddlefest has been coming here, but I don't know. I think it's over 30.
Says 27.
27? And SOC has been sponsoring that for at least 10. SOC provides all kinds of things for Fiddlefest, a lot of advertising. Both events are advertised on our website and Facebook page. Fiddlefest this year was scheduled and actually took place on Easter weekend. So we had quite a few fewer attendees than we have had in the past. Probably half as many people ate our spaghetti dinner. The Kiwanis contributes to people to help serve some of these things. And then the following, let me see, what else can I say about it? We supply vegetables and fruit trays and food trays to the performers, as well as to the people who are coming, locally purchased items. And that is a 2-day affair. A lot of campers and a lot of people spending the night. Sometimes I've heard that the hotels are so full they can't find a place to stay. So anything I can tell you about that? And I'm not the expert. I have attended all these things. Dished up ice cream and floats.
Well, it sounds exciting, and I thank you very much for your report. I thank you for your involvement in the community. And any other questions or comments?
Thank you. We're
All
really
right.
happy to still be here.
Hey, thank you very
And I
much.
invite you to check out the pictures of the Rhapsody rides. It's very few people know about that. But you know if you're on the highway trying to get here.
You know if they're doing it right.
Down
Yeah.
Highway 3, avoid it on that day.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Next on our agenda is us city commissioners talking about what we are doing, and it's our commission reports. And so Commissioner Pennell,
I have no report.
Commissioner Olson.
Wednesday, I have the Historic Preservation Board. And then Friday, United Way is putting on a luncheon of the Early Learning Coalition of Mason County that I'll be attending. And that's all I have this week.
Okay, and I will, on Thursday, I will be attending a Economic Development Council Board meeting. And so that completes my report. Next is a opportunity for general public comment. If anyone here would like to say something, now is your opportunity. We do require you sign in, and please sign in right there. We have a 3-minute time limit, and nine courses. I'm looking for. I can't imagine. I'm still thinking about the. I only did it for the 9. I didn't care much about the chamber. I just cared about the 9 courses. You know. Just kidding.
I'll make sure to let everybody there know that.
9? No, just kidding. Just kidding. No. Hello, Tom.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Tom Davis. 170 West Bushy Road is where I reside. And basically, I came here today or this evening, to sing the praises of Bob Botman, who, as it turns out, did not show up. I've worked with Bob on several of the events in SOC, and so has my wife, and the Rhapsody event is exactly the kind of event that I support wholeheartedly. It's a wonderful event. It's for all the right reasons, and there's no downside. There's no added traffic, per se, vehicle traffic and so on. And so it comes off as a healthful event, a family event, and there's no major cleanup afterwards, except at the high school. So Bob, who I consider a dear friend, and Sue Sheldon, his wife, worked tirelessly and selflessly for this community, and as far as I'm concerned, deserve more than their nod of recognition. There seems to be, in my experience, a very tight group of people in Mason County who always show up at the time that you need people to help out. And they're the same faces. They become very familiar. And yet, no one sings their praises. They don't have any plaques or awards or recognition, but they keep on showing up. These are the true soldiers of our community, and they get my respect. And so I didn't want this little recognition to go by without someone from the community saying that we really appreciate the effort that SOC does and the individuals that show up when they're needed on, and even sometimes when they're not called upon. So these are the good parts of living in a community.
Just one little sentence. I'm here tonight because Bob and Sue both are working at prison tonight. Bob is volunteering, and Sue will be volunteering in the last hour when she's working there. I also volunteered here, but I got a substitute for tonight.
Well, thank you very much. We do appreciate it. And there are a laundry list of other people, of course, that deserve this recognition, but I hope at some point they will be recognized in a more formalized manner. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Next on the agenda is our consent agenda. Have my fellow commissioners had an opportunity to review the material in the consent agenda? If so, could we please have a reading of the consent agenda?
Consent agenda, vouchers numbered 80039 through 80092 in the amount of $633,745.07. Vouchers numbered 80202 through 80218 in the amount of $17,011.96. Commission meeting minutes from business meeting of December 3rd, 2012, study session of December 10th, 2012, business meeting of December 17th, 2012, and study session of December 27th, 2012.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second the motion.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. No new old business at this time, but we have a few items on new business, and it looks like our first item would be reviewing an appointment for, I believe his name is John. I've asked 6 people this. Let's see here. I would just say John Reckhart. I'll go with that at the moment, or Reckhart. And anyway, I guess this briefing will be presented to us by our administrative assistant, Vicki Look.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I have a couple items here tonight, just kind of following along with the volunteerism that we have going on and the reports that we've heard tonight. Mr. John Weichert, he started a Civil Service Commissioner position with us last year, fulfilled the end of a term of commissioner that vacated the position, and he has offered to stand in for the next 6 years on our Civil Service Commission. They help us with the process for the police department and the selection of officers and such, and help us keep our civil service rules up to date. So that's what they do. And he has submitted his letter asking to be extended for the next 6 years. So I would ask the commission consider John Weichert as for that position, and I would request that if you are willing to do that, that we put that on the consent agenda for January 14th.
All right, is there any questions or comments at this time? We do appreciate all the volunteers that help the city. Without volunteers, we'd have a lot more work to do, and so we appreciate that. Okay, I think we'll follow your recommendation, then let's place that on the consent agenda for January 14, 2013. Second item is, again, I believe you are going to present that to us.
I am. This is the appointments for the Hotel Advisory Committee, that we look at the membership on that committee every year, and the mayor is the chairman of the committee, and so that I'm sure you've attended those meetings. We have, it consists of 5 members, the mayor being the chairman, 2 of the facilities that have the rooms available, which are our motels, and 2 groups that are eligible for the hotel motel funding. We've had Dwayne Wilson sitting in. He's in the Christmastown Kiwanis group. They get funding for the bluegrass from the forest. And we have Annette McGee. And I will say that Annette McGee was a representative of the Yesteryear Car Club. I don't believe that club's still functioning, but they are a committee under the Shelton Historical Society, I believe, and so they do the car show, and the proceeds of that car show goes to the Historical Society to help run the museum and et cetera. So she has also offered and expressed an interest to continue for the next year in that position. So if, and then the 2 are the Shelton Inn and Motel 8, I believe it is, or the other, the motel owners that participate on that committee. So
Okay.
if you're willing to reappoint those folks for another term, 1-year term, I would ask that you also place that on the consent agenda for January 14th.
Questions or comments? I will say, I wrote this down, that Annette and Dwayne are friends of mine, and it's a pleasure working with them on this committee as I have with different events in my past life, and that they are both dedicated, hardworking volunteers who I could highly recommend. So my vote would be yes on that. And so we will put that on the consent agenda. Thank you very much. Next, our administration report.
No report tonight, Your Honor.
Okay. General public comment, any other comments? Seeing none.
Gary?
Oh, yes, sir.
It kind of fits into what, speaking of volunteers and recognition tonight, I wanted to recognize the passing of a volunteer who is really important to the city, and that's Dave Hastings. Passed away recently, and he was a founding member of the City of Shelton Historic Preservation Board and was very instrumental in getting both historic districts through the prior city commission. And Dave also worked for the State Archive, so he was perhaps one of the more knowledgeable, if not the most knowledgeable person on historic preservation in the city. And he was a very quiet man, so he didn't really stand out front there, but a lot of this stuff would have never happened if it hadn't been for Dave. And so I just wanted to recognize him as a final thing tonight, so.
Very good. Thank you for bringing that forward. Okay, it looks like our next meeting will be Monday, January 14th, 2013, at 2 p.m. And what is that? Touches. Yes, and just before that, we are going to have some administration final touches.
Are there any touches tonight? You have any touches? No touches tonight.
I don't see a lot of people over there on the other table, so, yes, sometimes my eyesight is going in. I go through this agenda and I skip things, but I will now adjourn this meeting. Thank you.